Okay, let's get right into the purpose behind this video. I have a client who's having problems in the bedroom with her husband. Now, due to some of the language that I'm going to use, and due to the overall subject of this video, I request that if you are under the age of consent in your area, that you turn the video off now. Simply put, if you are not old enough to access adult material on the internet, you are not old enough to be listening to this video. This is to cover my butt legally, and so here we go. If you are not of the age of consent in your area, please turn the video off now. I have a client by the name of quote-unquote Sarah. That's not her real name, but that is the name I'm going to call her. Anyway, her and her husband Bill are having some issues in the bedroom. Now, they're not erectile dysfunction issues or anything like that. Quite the opposite. You see, Sarah and Bill are both about 300 pounds. Now, when you picture a 300-pound person, usually you picture somebody that is quite rotund. In their case, this is not the issue. They're both very muscular. They've done bodybuilding for most of their adult life, so they're quite bulked underneath the fat that they do have. But unfortunately, they do have a bit of a gut on each of them. Again, not as you would picture on a 300-pound person, because we tend to cartoonize and comedically envision large people with an actual picture in front of us of these people. You tend to picture them larger than they really are. But the point is that he has become so heavy at this point that his back cannot last before he starts to have a lot of pain during intercourse. So as a result, he makes very small movements, and neither one of them is getting really any stimulation from this. And as a result, intercourse can last hours before either one of them really accomplishes any happiness from it. This is where the problem is. Like I said, he's gotten so heavy that his back is seizing during intercourse. He's having pain, and they have to stop and start and stop and start for like a couple hours, she says. Usually sex ends with them not finishing, but basically her just getting fed up and look, Bill, get the hell off me. This is not working. Let's try again tomorrow night. Well, tomorrow night never comes, so that would be the issue. When they do have intercourse, it's horrible. And because of that, they're having intercourse less and less and less. And she is miserable. Now, he has not talked to me about this issue. He doesn't want to talk about it. He wants to keep it between him and her, and I understand that. But if she is desperate enough to consult, a witch, for herbal advice and even magical advice on the subject, obviously it's become a huge issue in their relationship. And, he needs to discuss it. If he's not willing to discuss it with me, he needs to discuss it with her or his doctor or something. Anyway, that's what this video is about. I've stated what she's told me. He's become so out of shape due to his weight that he can't perform in the bedroom. And we're not talking about, as I said, erectile dysfunction. We're talking about he's just not physically fit enough to perform the act of lovemaking. And this has got her rather depressed and just, it's a mess. Their relationship is in serious danger, I think, because of this. So I'm asking your advice. How does she get his attention on this matter? How does she basically tell him, look, we're both, relatively physical fit people other than when it comes to sex. They're both, as I said, very muscular individuals, though they do carry extra weight over this muscle nowadays. As you get older, you gain weight, unfortunately. So anyway, how does she get his attention? How does she tell him, look, you've got to get in shape. You've got to like strengthen your back, or you've got to lose a bit of that gut or something so that we can have sex again, because she's at the end of her rope. Like, now there's more to it than just the lack of intimacy in the bedroom, or the inequality of the quality of the bedroom. There's also a lack of interest in him just spending time with her at this point. Now, I've been working with Sarah for about 4 years now, and every time I see her, she's just more and more brokenhearted over the whole matter. See, he comes home at night and curls up with his laptop, and that's it. He spends 4 or 5 hours with that laptop, and then he goes to bed. And then he gets up in the morning and he goes to work, and he comes home the next night and he curls up with the laptop for 5 hours and he goes to bed. And it has been like this for the last 10, 12 years, I guess. Anyway, she is at the end of her rope, and she would really like some advice on how to communicate with him on this. How does she explain to him that their lack of intimacy both in and out of the bedroom at this point is destroying their marriage? The only time they spend together, this is the other problem, the only time they spend together is when they go shopping. So as you can imagine, their credit card bills are just growing astronomically at this point. And it really looks like Bill's just in denial about this. So how does Sarah talk to him? How does she basically get him to realize, to open his eyes and realize that they have some major issues? So thank you for your time, and any advice you may have that I can pass on to Sarah would just be fantastic, because I have no idea what to tell her at this point. After being a client of mine for 4 years and just watching their relationship deteriorate further and further and further, and seeing how much she still loves Bill, but how heartbroken she is. I don't know if she could survive a divorce. She's that attached to him. Like, obviously, if she's put up with this kind of crap for 12 years now, she's obviously committed to the relationship, but she definitely needs to fix the relationship, and I don't think that it should be all up to her to come up with a solution. Bill definitely needs to take some responsibility for his side of things. And so anyway, if you guys have any advice on what she should do, please let me know so that I can pass it on to her, because she definitely needs some help.